Come on in and sit down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment.
So, did you guys hear about Vampiro doing a good deed last week?
No.
Yeah, Vampiro came to the aid of an elderly man. I guess it was at some McDonald's. He saw a man fall to the ground in the restaurant, and he began convulsing. The guy calls 911, administered first aid techniques, and then waited for him until the ambulance responded. So, I couldn't even believe that Vampiro has always been known to be, at least around the wrestling world, to be not really it was not well liked. And here he is, saving an old guy's life. I was shocked. This actually happened, I think Thursday or Friday night, and he said he was just happy to be right at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, there's always, like my mum always says, there's always a good deed in some. Even evil people have got a good deed sometimes.
Exactly. Just because he was a prick in the business, don't mean he don't know right and wrong. I mean, you see somebody season up and stuff, you help them or whatever you can.
Well, it's like in real life. I suppose wrestlers are difficult because you never know what is real and what is their persona that they are trying to portray. Because I've seen I can only go by English wrestlers. There was a guy called Babyface Jim Breaks, and he was a babyface. So everything he did, he'd pat kids on the head, he'd sign autographs, chuck them t-shirts like wrestlers do. He was known as the typical babyface, and he was called Babyface Jim Breaks. I saw him outside the wrestling arena and went up to him to get his autograph. And this is now he's dressed in his street clothes. He is now just Jim Breaks. That was his real name. And I asked him for an autograph, and he looked at me, and I expected him to be like, I would expect John Cena to be, and yeah, come over, have an autograph. He looked at me and says, just fuck off. And from then on, he went down in my estimation. He might have been a nice babyface, but in real life, he was a jerk. And when we got talking to other wrestlers, he'd only travel in his own car. He used to have a coach or a minibus that they all used to pile in. He wouldn't travel with everybody because everybody hated him because he was an arse.
All I'm just saying, there's a reason they're called gimmicks.
Yeah, and yet when he was on the TV, he was the nicest person in the world, but I don't know of any of my friends that we used to go watch wrestling on a regular basis on Saturday afternoons that ever got that guy's autograph, ever. Loads of them went up to him and asked, and they all got fobbed off with some excuse like, don't sign autographs. Wouldn't even let you take if you took a picture of him, he says, can I have a copy of that, please? I was like, what do you mean a fucking copy? And I've known him without a word of a lie. There's even articles on YouTube about him. He's taken cameras off people, in the olden days this is, taken cameras off people and pulled the fucking film out because he hasn't given permission to take a photograph. That is being a jerk.
Yeah, it is. I know we're in the moment, guys, and I wanted to talk about Rey Mysterio being the legal battle of the WWE. According to reports, Rey Mysterio, Oscar Gutierrez, if I can not pronounce that right, thank you, in the WWE legal battle over his trademark and name of Rey Mysterio's character, which is owned by the WWE. Mysterio currently is advertised as Rey Mysterio Jr. in AAA, and Rey Mysterio, spelled differently for a nightclub appearance, on the Boys on Tour for WrestleMania weekend. According to reports, Rey Mysterio is 100% healthy, and he's expected to return to the ring later in 2015. James, what do you think about this whole legal battle? Do you think Rey Mysterio should actually have his name, or do you think the WWE owns the name? Should have the name?
This one, we all talked about legal battles with names for so many times, and that the fact is WWE is notoriously known to have you say, "Hey, you're this guy. You're this popular guy. We're going to let you keep your name, but your name is going to be trademarked under us." Because remember, Rey Mysterio was like a WCW guy. ECW, I'm sorry. I apologize. ECW, then WCW. And basically, it's just, I don't know. I just have to say that if he signed it over as WWE's, I can't say anything much else after that.
you know what, James makes a very valid point. Before he came to the WWE, he built that name of Rey Mysterio. So
in fact, was he given the rights to the name from his uncle, who was Rey Mysterio,
correct.
the original?
So that was his legacy. You know, it's not like when he was in, WWE and they created this whole gimmick, that everything, from the mask, the name, was done from ECW. Yeah, I think even before ECW days.
Yeah. Honestly, he did not build up the Rey Mysterio. I think that Rey Mysterio was just a WWE thing, because...
No, it was not. He was known as Rey Mysterio Jr.
Exactly.
This is my personal opinion, and it's probably nice if we can get some kind of debate with your opinions on the Facebook page, but I don't think the WWE should have the rights to copyright anybody's name. Yes, while you work for the WWE, you can be marketed by them, and if they want to make a doll or a T-shirt or whatever, they should have every right to that. But if you leave that company, you should be able to go away and use your name as you feel fit. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel.
I agree. I think the only time the WWE deserves to keep the name is if they made the name.
Yeah.
Like Razor Ramon. Scott Hall went in as Razor Ramon.
Yeah. It's just really bad. I mean, wrestlers when they've been on, say, TV, even if they've only been on TV once, as far as they're concerned, they've made it to the big time, and they then become proud of their name. Suddenly, if they get fired or the contract expires and they are told by Vince, you can never use that name again, it's a bit of a kick in the balls, because I'm in an entirely different industry, and if you listen to the shows, you'll know I'm in a paranormal group, and another team, my team's called Stoke Haunted, another team decided to call themselves Stoke Haunted PI, Paranormal Investigators, and I went absolutely ballistic. But people said to me, well, they are called Stoke Haunted PI. I said, the only problem is, if they go somewhere and do something wrong using that name, we're the one that have been using that name for the last 12 years. We're the ones that are going to take the shit for it, because people are going to say, oh, don't trust that Stoke Haunted bunch. They went such and such a place and stealed. They went and pinched stuff. So it's a similar sort of thing. You take a great pride in your name. And when the WWE can still market your name, and you've now got to go on the street as an entirely different name, you've got to reassociate with people that this is what I am now. Don't remember what I was then. This is what I am now. And it's like, even for someone like John Cena, it's like probably starting all over again.
Yeah, and that usually does happen, but the fact is they still know who he is. Let's look at Mr. Kennedy. He went over and became to TNA. He's now Mr. Anderson. Razor and Diesel, when they went to WCW, there's Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. So eventually, like I said, the popular ones do make that transition. The not so popular ones, that's where it's hotter. I think we should move along, though. We have a bigger story, the Bill DeMott story. This has been going on over the past week and a half. Bill stepping down as the head trainer after several developmental talents accused DeMott of abusing and mistreating the talent. One story was told by Hannibal that several years ago, when he was training in Deep South Wrestling in the developmental territory for the WWE, several wrestlers would bribe DeMott to do demanding stunts to get out of training. One example was Zack Ryder, and another female wrestler would take 10 to 15 jelly donut stink faces from a naked Luke Gallows. And we have a picture of this, which is going to be in our video. DeMott was released from his contract as head coach in 2007. Now, Luke Gallows, of course, is Drew Hackinson, Festus, and the fake Kane. And another story claims that DeMott was using racist comments towards an unnamed wrestler who was of Middle Eastern ethnicity, and DeMott turned and screamed she screamed her, asking why she was not at the seminar, because apparently she had showed up 30 minutes just before the seminar ended, did not have any money. She said she was shouting at him for no reason at all.
Well, I don't know if you... This is carrying on with the same story, but I don't know if you know... I only know because I watched I won't advertise the company, but I think you'll know the English TV show that's on a Sunday evenings that you Americans can only watch on YouTube. On their show, they were talking to Alberto Del Rio, and it was Bill DeMott that basically... He left because of Bill DeMott, because of a racist remark he made in the changing room.
That was him?
But yes, definitely.
No kidding. Wow.
He made a racist remark to Alberto Del Rio, and Alberto Del Rio said in his interview it was either deck him there and then and lose my job, or walk out, because I am not being called, I can't remember, whatever, he's Spanish, isn't he, or whatever. Whatever it is, there's a word in America that they disrespect, and he wasn't being called that by, no, as he put it, white honky. That's just how he basically termed him, and he did it on more than one occasion to people like Carlito and her that used to do the splits, can't remember her name, Marlena, was it?
No.
Who was it that used to do the splits as part of her gimmick when she used to get in the ring?
Melina.
Yeah, Melina. He used to give her shit as well, apparently, about her nationality and her background. He's a bit of an evil arse, to be honest, Bill DeMott. Not a nice guy to know, apparently. But he's the real reason, or the main reason, why Alberto Del Rio called it a day.
Yeah, several developmental talents are being relieved that since DeMott stepping down. Friends and family continue to support DeMott despite all this, and of course DeMott denies any wrongdoing and now Prince Albert is now the interim head coach of NXT. I spoke with Joseph Knight from the Classic Wrestling Association about this whole DeMott situation, and he even says that that obviously DeMott has been known to let the power get to his head. And he says there's certain ways to discipline development, but there's also going too far, and he thinks that that's exactly what happened here, that DeMott just went way too far. James, your thoughts?
There's always two sides of the story, and we don't know what's true or not, so we just, to me, it's like, I don't know who to trust. Is it DeMott, or is it the people who've been saying, oh, that's a lot of stuff? It's like kind of like what the whole Bill Cosby stuff is going about with this whole raping stuff. There's always two sides of the story. We don't know what's true and what's not. This is just all we heard.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up about Bill Cosby, James, because it sort of puts something into perspective. When Bill DeMott was a wrestler, and we're talking about when these child raping cases with Bill Cosby were taking place, it's like the 1970s. It was okay. I mean, I'm a child of the late 60s, early 70s. When I was a child, when I was young, it was okay to use the word N in everyday conversation. But now, things have changed. Maybe he's always spoke to people in that way. And my grandmother, she's died now, my nan died, but my nan, and I hope I don't offend anybody, I'm going to use the word, if she got on a bus and there was a lot of black people on the bus, she'd say, what are all these niggers doing? She was quite happy about saying the word N. And people now would go, but she was brought up to say the word N. It was normal talk in them days. And maybe that's what Bill DeMott is. Bill DeMott is probably a racist by today's standards, but 30 years ago, that was the normal, unfortunately. And times have to move on.
I agree the times have to move on, but I think it was a little bit more than that. I think he was just also very power hungry. Because he also seemed to do it. I think it was race blind. I mean, he obviously had no problem using racist remarks, but I think this was a little bit more than that.
The biggest problem with any television company is once you start holding a responsible position, it does go to your head. There's no two ways about it, and people that say it doesn't are a liar. And if you start taking responsibilities in any company, you think you're cut above everybody else, and if you want to talk down to people, it gives you the opportunity to talk down to people. Prime example, any of you guys who are listening to the show that actually go to work, I will guarantee your main boss will talk to you like you're a piece of shit. Just because he's the boss, does it give him the rights for him to talk to you that way? Hell no.
Yeah.
But they do.
Now, you're right. And I understand that some bosses can be like that, but we're talking right now. But with DeMott, he had several chances with the WWE as being, a coach. When, he did this whole, Deep South Wrestling. He was the coach. He was developmental. This was before the Performance Center when the WWE was using indies to develop. And, he fucked up then. And they and they fired him. They brought him back, and he figured, hey, okay, gotta keep my head. He rose to power. He was, and then he fucked up again.
Is it just me, though? The WWE seem to have people coaching our up-and-coming new wrestlers of today who, I'm sorry, Bill DeMott is not someone I would pick to be a good candidate for a coach. His own career sucked.
It's not necessarily about what you do in the ring as far as performance, because you got to remember, wrestlers only go as far as the actual bookers want to push you. It doesn't mean how good you are actually, your ring skills are. Lance, would you agree with me or disagree with me?
100% agree. I mean, because I know some people give Bill DeMott shit for his in-ring work, but if you're a good 350 pounds and you can do a moonsault, that's pretty freaking impressive. Yeah, he's a complete and utter dickhead, jackass son of a bitch. No offense, Andy. But and racist. And extremely power hungry. I think he's a bastard asshole son of a bitch. No offense, Andy.
Not taken. I mean, if I was a wrestling person and I was going to pick, right, I've now got to find a trainer to train all my wrestlers, and I want them to become as good as this person to carry on the brand, I'd be looking at people like Chris Jericho. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Chris Jericho, probably Dolph Ziggler, the sort of people that look like they've actually got a career in the WWE, that have done well with what career they've had. Not somebody like Bill DeMott. I mean, that's like saying, I tell you what, I mean, even somebody like Tommy Dreamer would make a good trainer. Now, I know he does something in the background, but I'm not exactly sure what.
Yeah.
But that's like having somebody like The Rock or Brock Lesnar teaching somebody. They've been out of the fucking business for that long. They don't know jack. I've been doing photography since I was 18 years old. Everything I was taught at college is entirely different today. I couldn't pick up a modern camera now, without the knowledge I've got now. I couldn't pick up a digital camera now and start taking fantastic photographs like I could with film cameras, because it's an entirely different thing, and wrestling in 2015 is an entirely different subject than 1977.
Well, last night on Raw, we saw Sting's promo. Several people thought it was Sting's voice. Wasn't Sting's voice. Then Undertaker made his presence felt with a promo and a bolt of lightning, and then Brock just stood in the middle of the ring with a dumb look on his face, like always. We got, 3 weeks away to WrestleMania? And Undertaker has not really shown his face. Sting's only been in the ring once since the Royal Rumble. What the fuck is going on? And Brock, you might as well just put a cutout of the ring. It was an appearance. It wasn't really even any interaction.
Brock Lesnar wouldn't have half the appeal he got, unfortunately, without our friend Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is Brock Lesnar's mouthpiece, because without him, Brock Lesnar's just
He might as well call him Geppetto.
Yeah, he might as well be mute, because his mic skills suck. His mic skills are the worst ever.
Yes.
It's just, I'm getting so pissed off each and every week seeing the same thing. And, these little video promos, and now The Undertaker's doing the same thing. It's like, really? Is this how he gets paid? Is this what we're waiting for at WrestleMania?
But have you read some of the articles about how Brock Lesnar's supposed to be disrespectful to the wrestling industry? And everyone says this, how disrespectful he is. He doesn't, even if Vince says, I want you to do this, this and this, he just thinks, fuck you, I'll do what I want. They told him they didn't want him to go anywhere near a UFC arena. He went to the last UFC 184. He was seen in the crowd. Mm-hmm. He's just got a blatant disrespect for the wrestling industry. And they've put all their eggs in the basket, making him the world champion. Well, what is up with them?
Actually, I'm going to ask James this. James, if you remember the last time Brock was with the WWE several years ago, when he had a big power rush, didn't he get the same kind of attitude?
Yeah, he got the same attitude. I mean, and the fact is that he left with bad terms. Look at what WrestleMania 20, that match with Goldberg, that was like shit. the fact that he lost, he had to even drop the title to Eddie Guerrero. And you know, that's just the power that he gets, you know, just being there because he's Brock Lesnar and he's this all-powerful guy.
But
Yeah,
do you know what I don't understand about that? Sorry for chipping in, but what I don't understand about... I wouldn't like meet Brock Lesnar in a dark street, but they're making out that Brock Lesnar's this undefeatable menace, but I'm sorry, I'm a UFC fan as much as I'm a WWE fan, or getting that way, and he had his arse handed to him in the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So really, he's a cast-off of UFC that wasn't any good at it.
Well...
But see, what you have to understand... Okay, well, go ahead.
Well, if he wasn't that good, how do you win a couple of heavyweight championships?
Yeah, but look who he fight, lad. I mean, if you follow UFC, they're that memorable an opponent, unless I actually looked on the internet, I couldn't even tell you who he won against. But he didn't win against anybody of any...
Frank Mir's a badass.
Yeah, that's Rodrigo Santos, who turned out to have steroids.
What happened to Frank Mir after he lost against Brock Lesnar? It was basically his retirement match.
What happened, Frank?
Even he admitted he was going down the toilet with his age.
Didn't Frank Mir come back and beat Brock Lesnar for the title?
Yes.
Exactly. There you go. Answer the question.
Now, also, if we want to talk about... I mean, I think Brock, if he goes to the UFC, that's going to be his retirement fund. He knows he's only going to be wrestling or doing 3-4 matches, maybe 5 matches. He's not going for a world title shot. He's just going for some money. WWE was his first pot where he could just sit on his ass, train. While he trains, he gets a check.
It defies all logic why the guy's even got a job.
Because, you know what, he's a commodity.
He's a draw.
And unfortunately, yeah. The way the WWE sees him, he sees him as a commodity because the fans goes nuts. There are marks out there that think he's the cream of the crop, even though he comes out, once every 6 months, wrestles once a year, if that, maybe twice, on a fucking good note.
Well, another thing that has annoyed, it annoys me, and I know it annoys you guys, but The Rock, every single wrestling fan that I know bitches their tits off about The Rock, comes, he has a match, and then he disappears for 6 months, but they are the same fans that blow their stack when he appears in the WWE ring. You like a bottle of champagne, they just pop. And you think, what's up with him? If I was in the crowd, I'd stand there thinking, hey, up he's back. I certainly won't be standing on my chair, jumping up and down and jacking one out. But these are the same fans that bitch week in, week out. Oh, The Rock, he turns his back on us, and this, that, and the other. And then, as soon as everybody comes back, it's like he's never been anywhere, and he's the god. The man is a fucking has-been. He has been a good wrestler in his day, he ain't anymore. Austin's the same, as much as I love the guy, he's a has-been.
Well, he's not a has-been, he's retired.
Yeah.
Austin, I at least respect Austin for being retired.
Yeah, Austin's retired. He doesn't wrestle like Rock or Brock, you know? He makes an appearance, yeah, but he doesn't wrestle.
Well, right now, I think we're going to wrap up this edition of In the Moment. Make sure you follow us over at Facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio, and please subscribe to us over at YouTube.com/HWR Show.
Just before we go, and just before I add my where I'm from and what I do, I would like to see on the Facebook page, if possible, what are your views? I know we've mentioned it before on a previous show, but I would like to get your take on where you think Samoa Joe should go with his career. Should he go on the independents? Should he go to Ring of Honor? Should he go to the WWE? Whatever. Just put it on the Facebook page and get some conversation going, and we might discuss it in a later show. I feel it needs some discussion about that, but if you want to check me out anyway, the best place to check me out is at www.stokehaunted.com, or you'll find me on the HWR page or my own Facebook page, which you can get from the links on Stoke Haunted.
We have James from the Big Easy. James, what do you got going on?
I'm on twitch.tv/fatboy504. I do, PS4 gameplay. And you can also follow me on Twitter at fatboy504.
Can I ask you, James, what is Fatboy504?
Oh, let's say this, I'm fat. This is just a nickname.
You're not 504 pounds, are you?
No. 504 is the area code of New Orleans.
Oh, so you're the Rey Mysterio 619 then?
And last, and certainly not least, we have the incomparable Lance Moss. And you can find him over at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Lance, what do you got going on?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck Armageddon videos, musical equipment reviews, some rants, the archives of controversial scandals, and I'm also on Twitter. It's at LanceMossTV.
All right. And of course, we're also on Twitter. That's at HWR Show. So for everyone here, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Make sure you follow us at any one of our locations, whether it's YouTube, Dailymotion, and now SoundCloud.com under the name HWR Show. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.